Welcome to the channel. Today we enter the world of power, secrets, and murder. This is not just any story. This is The First Gentleman, written by Bill Clinton, the former president of the United States, and James Patterson, one of the most famous thriller writers in the world. Two giants, one political thriller. Now imagine this. The President of the United States is a woman. She is strong. She is smart. She is running for re-election. But just before the big campaign, her husband is arrested. He is not just anyone. He is a former football star, a national icon. And now, he is the first gentleman. But there is a twist. He is on trial for murder. Yes, murder. A nation in shock. A White House in chaos. Is he guilty? Is it a setup? Or is something much darker going on? This is not just a story. It is a game of politics, of betrayal, of power, and of truth. Inside this book, you will find secret meetings, dangerous enemies, shocking twists, and a fight to protect the truth at all costs. So sit back, turn up the volume, and let us take you inside the most powerful house in the world, where no one is safe, and not everything is what it seems. Let us begin. Welcome back. Now we meet the main players. This is where the story deepens. This is not just another election year. It is not just another White House story. This is a storm. In the fictional world of The First Gentleman, America is led by its first female president, President Keating. She is bold, smart, tough as steel. And now she is in the middle of a war, a political war, a personal war, and maybe a deadly one, because her husband, the first gentleman, is on trial, not for lying, not for cheating, but for murder. Let's meet the key players. President Keating, the 47th President of the United States, a woman who shattered every glass ceiling, an ex-senator, a fighter for justice, loved by many, hated by more. She is running for re-election. Her team is sharp. Her plans are set. But her world is about to explode, because this time the fight is not in Congress. It is not on social media. It is inside her home. Now meet her husband, Eric Keating, a former NFL superstar, a national icon, and now the first gentleman of the United States. He once owned the football field. Now he lives under the spotlight of the White House. He has style. He has charm. But behind closed doors, he holds secrets. And one of those secrets just might be deadly. The story begins with a shocking headline. A woman is dead, murdered, and the main suspect, Eric Keating, the husband of the president, the first gentleman, America's once golden boy, now at the center of a crime scene. But is he guilty, or is he a pawn in a bigger game? Washington is not just a city, it is a battlefield. And this story moves fast through the war rooms of politics, through the back doors of power, and into the hearts of two people caught in a storm. As the trial begins, the media goes wild. The opposition sees blood. The president's enemies smell weakness. They want chaos. They want to see her fall. Because if Eric goes down, she might go with him. Inside the West Wing, pressure grows. The re-election campaign is in full swing. President Keating cannot afford a scandal. Not now. Not with polls so tight. Not with enemies sharpening their knives. Her staff is torn. Some say she should distance herself. Others say she should defend him. But no one really knows. Did he do it? At the heart of this novel is trust. Between a wife and husband, between a leader and her people, between truth and illusion. As readers, we are pulled deep into the drama. The courtroom scenes, the media chaos, the private moments that no one sees. James Patterson delivers his fast-paced suspense. Bill Clinton adds the White House realism. Together, they build a world that feels dangerously real. Because in this story, one lie could end a career. One secret could end a life. Eric says he is innocent, but the evidence says otherwise. Text messages, security footage, whispers from his past. The victim? A woman with ties to powerful people. A woman who had her own secrets. And now she is gone. President Keating is trapped. If she protects him, they will call her blind. If she abandons him, they will call her cold. What would you do? If the person you love might be a murderer, and what if you are also the most powerful person in the world? The stakes could not be higher. The clock is ticking, and everyone is watching. Enemies outside the country, enemies inside the party, even enemies in the press. Some want truth, some want drama, some just want her out. And while the president fights to save her career, she is also fighting to save her marriage, and maybe her own soul. This is the world of The First Gentleman, a thriller built on secrets, sacrifice, and survival. This is not just about politics. It is about power, and what happens when power becomes personal. In the next part, we dive into the trial itself. Who is the victim? What really happened that night? And is Eric telling the truth? Stay with us. The mystery has just begun. We enter a new chapter. The story grows darker. A mystery begins. Meet the journalist duo. They are sharp. They are curious. They are not afraid. Their names are Alex Carter and Mia Chun, two reporters from the Capitol Chronicle. They seek truth. They chase secrets. Now, The First Gentleman is under investigation. Eric is no longer just the president's husband. He is a suspect. A headline reads, "First Gentleman under investigation." The nation gasps. Blood tests, security footage, witness statements. All eyes turn to the White House. Clues begin to surface. A text message sent at midnight. A hidden camera angle, blurred and suspicious. An unnamed tipster speaking in whispers. Alex and Mia dig deeper. They drive to crime scenes. They photograph evidence. They interview close friends and enemies. Flashbacks appear. Moments from the night of the murder. Eric arguing with the victim. An argument caught on tape. A woman's voice, loud and angry. Eric's apology in the dark. The timeline becomes clear. Midnight. Lights flicker. 12:15 a.m. A fight in the hallway. 12:30 a.m. Victim leaves the guest wing. 12:40 a.m. Eric enters alone. The public's trust cracks. People watch in disbelief. They scroll through social feeds. Tension rises. Supporters feel confused. They whisper, "He would never hurt anyone." Critics roar, "This is proof of cover-up." The country splits. Alex and Mia feel the weight. They are not just telling a story. They hold the power to shape the truth. Alex asks Mia, "Do you think he did it?" Mia replies softly, "I do not know, but I will find out." The White House reacts. Briefings, press statements. The president's team stands behind Eric. They say, "We do not comment on an active investigation." But Washington whispers, "Is this a political trap? Are they hiding something bigger?" Clues multiply. An encrypted email is leaked. A key is missing from Eric's office. A voicemail erased but partially recovered. Each clue pushes Alex and Mia forward. Each clue makes the public watch TV more and fret more. Flashbacks continue. A dinner party. Eric pours wine for the victim. They laugh. The moment looks warm until a coded glance appears. Then, another scene. Late night meeting in a private room. Someone passes a letter. Eric's face turns pale. He wipes sweat from his brow. Is it proof or a trap? Alex and Mia ask each other. This looks bad. It could also be fake. They dive deeper. Meanwhile, the president feels the fall. People no longer cheer. They send cold stares. She smiles at ceremonies, but her eyes are tired. Can she survive this? The question becomes a whisper. Can the presidency survive this? Perspective shifts. We see Washington from multiple angles. The media, cameras flash. Questions reign. The opposition, they sense weakness. They smell blood. The president's inner circle, they scramble to control the story. A breaking clue. A security guard saw Eric that night. A uniformed man at the scene. He gives a statement, under oath. This sends shockwaves. Alex and Mia know they have found a breakthrough. But the public, they saw too much. Opinions form fast. Trust bleeds away. Still, Alex and Mia keep going. They call lawyers. They fetch public records. They chase family members who disappeared. They relocate to print deadlines. They type until their fingers hurt. They know this trial could change everything. At the end of this chapter, we see three truths. Eric's name is on everything. Details leak faster than truth can heal. Power alone cannot silence questions. And so, the murder mystery bites deeper. The net tightens. The journalists remain on the hunt. The public holds its breath. The president prays in private. Eric waits for the next blow. This is where we pause. The mystery has begun. Trust is broken. Questions are asked. Answers will follow. Next, the courtroom drama, the lies exposed, and the power struggle at the heart of it all. Stay with us. The story's next turn comes soon. The trial is in session. Headlines are everywhere. Television channels repeat every twist. Social media pulses with outrage. This is not just a trial. This is a spectacle. Media explosion. Anchor lights flash. Reporters crowd the White House gates. Microphones wave like flags. Each network wants the first scoop. Every whisper becomes a story. Every glance becomes a clue. Power players move in. In Washington's marble halls, whispers grow darker. Senators lean in. Staffers pause mid-step. Lobbyists exchange knowing looks. They all watch Keating's every move. Her allies circle near. They plan press releases. They draft speeches. They prepare for war. Her enemies circle like hawks. They dig for dirt. They spread rumors. They hope she will fall. It is political chess. And the first move is in the courtroom. Leaked allegations. Then the leaks begin. An email, a voice memo, a private text message. In the memo, Eric's voice sounds nervous. He says, "I did not mean for this." In the text, he writes, "I'll fix this before tomorrow." The public reads. Questions grow. Hidden alliances. Behind closed doors, alliances form. Some want to help. Some want to hurt. One aide takes a secret meeting, late at night, with a political opponent. A promise is made. Silence in exchange for support. Another staffer betrays the president. They slip documents to a magazine. A damaging article drops at dawn. Meanwhile, a powerful friend steps forward. He offers legal help. He demands loyalty in return. Betrayals in the Oval Office. Inside the White House, whispers become louder. Champagne in the East Wing turns bitter. Staffers glance at each other, eyes filled with doubt. Who is on her side? Who wants to help her husband? A key advisor leaks false details. Trial strategy is shared with the press. The president's team scrambles. Trust erodes, even among friends. A bigger game. Then something changes. Something feels bigger, more real. Alex and Mia, the journalists, they connect the dots. They see a pattern. They find evidence of foreign actors watching. An email address from overseas. A shell company. Paid leaks. They see the story now. Not local. Not just political. But international. A deeper play. Washington on edge. Suddenly, every minister wants a word. Every official eyes the story. Town halls grow tense. Public speeches have undercurrents. Every word is analyzed. Senators whisper. It's not just crime. It is a coup. The president watches from the Oval Office. Her face betrays nothing, but her heart races. Power shift leads to this. Pressure rises. Polls drop. Supporters drift away. A media debate escalates. Anchor 1. Is this proof of guilt? Anchor 2. Or is it a setup? Anchor 3. Who planted the leaks? The White House pushes back, but public trust frays. A leaked photo shows Eric in a private meeting. He is smiling, but in his eyes there is fear. Tensions rise. At the courthouse, every session becomes flooded. Every moment is captured. Alex records every whisper. Mia interviews every insider. Their offices fill with notes. The sense of danger grows. Some lobbyists warn them, you should stop, but they cannot, because now the story is not only big, it may be dangerous. A deepening conspiracy, more leaks, more secrets, documents from overseas, evidence of bribed influencers. As the court holds session, a storm builds outside. They call for hearings. They demand sanctions. International pressure is mounting. A city transformed. Washington looks different. Crowds gather outside the White House. Signs read, justice, truth, resign. At night, TV screens glow especially bright. Breaking news tickers run endlessly. Ratings soar with every new twist. This is politics. As a thunderstorm. End of part 3. Something bigger lies under the surface. The trial is just one piece. The public sees the murder. Washington sees a power game. What will come next? Will the president protect her husband? Will the journalists expose the truth? Will Washington fall into chaos? This is the world of real power, where trust is rare, where facts are slippery, where betrayal hides behind every door. Next up, we dive deeper. We expose hidden agendas. We face the courtroom's darkest secrets. Stay tuned for part 4, Twists, Deceptions, and Cover UPS. Would you like me to continue? The plot thickens. Shadows grow darker. The truth hides behind closed doors. Secret meetings. Late nights in hidden rooms. Officials slip in and out. No lights. No cameras. Whispered voices. Contracts exchanged. Votes promised. Silence demanded. Shadow figures. Some names appear on paper. But who really gives the orders? A man in the press secretary's office? A wealthy donor from overseas? Or someone even higher? Someone in the West Wing? The investigation deepens. Alex and Mia are the first to notice. New documents show missing financial transfers. A security camera angle hides a face. Phone records vanish. Emails are deleted. But backups exist. Deep in the cloud, truth starts to twist. One day, Eric's alibi seems solid. Then it unravels. A witness changes their story. Bit by bit, small cracks appear. Was the wife's phone call real or scripted? Did Eric leave the room before or after the victim did? Nobody knows. A second revelation shocks the nation. A second body found. Someone close to the first gentleman, dead, ruled a suicide, but evidence suggests foul play. It is connected. It is no accident. The president's heart breaks. She sits in the Oval Office. Tears pool in her eyes. She reads the news. Her world crumbles again. Her husband, her protector, is accused of murder. Again, duty versus love. 2 words. A lifetime apart. Which one wins? Duty calls her to protect the presidency, to stand strong, to defend truth. Love calls her to save her husband, to stand by him, to protect him at all costs. Public reactions. Crowds gather. Some hold signs. Justice for the first gentleman. Others shout, lock him up. Social media explodes. Hashtags trend. Opinions shift by the hour. Political machinations. Opponents sense weakness. They issue statements. They call for investigations. They demand answers. Allies scramble. They leak positive stories. They remind voters. She is working hard. She is strong. She will not be distracted. Betrayals from within. A trusted aide goes missing. He carries a flash drive. Inside, unknown files. Dangerous files. Files that could ruin everything. Another advisor secretly records a private speech. It plays on midnight news. She sounds uncertain. Her voice wavers. She sounds human. A cover-up begins. Emails are redacted. Security footage is tampered with. Documents disappear. Some call it damage control. Others call it obstruction of justice. Journalists take action. Alex digs in. He calls informants. He files court orders for records. He sits in a fast food parking lot at night, waiting for his contact. Mia tracks phone locations. She cross-checks times. She travels out of town to chase an anonymous tip, to a motel room off the highway. Devastating revelation. Mia finds something hidden. A photo, a transfer, a code name. It links the first gentleman's aide to a powerful lobbyist. This lobbyist has influence in Congress. He has close ties to the campaign funds. He could control the flow of information. He could shape the narrative. The president discovers the reality. She meets with her chief of staff. They talk in a secure room. She says, "I did not want this." Her voice cracks. She looks down at her hands. He answers, "Madam, we are in deeper than we thought." A moment of crisis. On the stairs of the Supreme Court, reporters shout questions. She walks slowly, shoulders tense. Her tired eyes meet the cameras. They ask, "Is the first gentleman guilty? Will you resign? Is the White House safe?" She takes a breath. She does not answer. Her silence speaks volumes. A plan is forming. She retreats to a private room. She meets with key allies. They must decide quickly. Do they fight back, or do they surrender? Shadows and reality. In a dark corridor, someone slips a note under her door. It reads, "Look beyond the murder. They are coming for you next." Tension builds. Her heart pounds. Her world shifts. Her trust erodes. She knows she walks a tightrope. Any wrong step could plunge her into tragedy. In this world of twists and betrayals. Nothing is certain. Everything is suspect. A president, a husband, a nation, all in the balance. The story moves into darker territory now. The cover-up is unfolding, and the president must choose between her love and her duty. The courtroom is silent. All eyes are on the stand. This is the moment the nation has waited for. Trial scenes. The judge enters. The jury sits tight. Cameras focus. Reporters lean in. Inside, tension is thick. The prosecution speaks first. They present evidence. They show photos. They replay videos. They point fingers. They build a story that leads to one name, Eric Keating. Dramatic testimony. A witness stands up. Their voice trembles. They describe that night. A fight. A scream. A door slamming. Another witness. A guard. He saw Eric leave the victim's room. He heard voices. He says he heard fear. The courtroom is silent. All eyes are on the stand. This is the moment the nation has waited for. Trial scenes. The judge enters. The jury sits tight. Cameras focus. Reporters lean in. Inside, tension is thick. The prosecution speaks first. They present evidence. They show photos. They replay videos. They point fingers. They build a story that leads to one name, Eric Keating. Dramatic testimony. A witness stands up. Their voice trembles. They describe that night. A fight. A scream. A door slamming. Another witness. A guard. He saw Eric leave the victim's room. He heard voices. He says he heard fear. The defense speaks. Then, Eric's lawyer rises. He asks the court to calm down. He shows contradictions in the story. He shows a missing timestamp. He shows phone records long enough. He shows gaps in the timeline. He asks the jury to doubt every word. The first gentleman speaks. Eric walks to the stand. He breathes deep. The nation watches in silence. He begins to talk. He says he loved his wife dearly. He says he never wanted harm. He says he found her lifeless and tried to save her. He speaks of fear, of shock, of helplessness. He reveals a secret moment, a confession of guilt he never meant. He cries. He describes regret. Shock waves. The courtroom gasps. The press bursts with noise. Some people believe him. Some see it as an act. Political sabotage revealed. Then a whistleblower testifies. They speak of a plot, a senior advisor, a rival campaign team. They paid a source. They hid camera footage. They planted evidence. It was not just kidnapping. It was not just a murder. It was politics. Final twist. Just when the nation believes one story, a secret audio emerges. It is a phone call. It is clear. Two voices. One is Eric. One is the victim. They argue over money. They plan to meet later. But there is a third voice. It orders the victim to prepare for the night. It sounds calm. It sounds collected. This changes everything. Courtroom erupts. The judge pounds the gavel. The defense calls for a halt. The prosecution looks stunned. Eric looks confused. Who is this third voice? Is this proof of another player? New evidence. Third party involved. Government cover-up. Public trust shatters again. President Keating's moment. She sits in the gallery. Her eyes are red. She whispers to herself. Holding on. She clenches her fists. Private strategy. After court, in a quiet room, she meets with her top advisors. They say, it was sabotage. It was a setup. She asks, will they admit it? The answer is quiet. They must, or foreign actors will take over. The verdict approaches. The jury retires. They carry the burden of justice. They carry the weight of a nation's eyes. The galleries wait. The cameras flash. Inside the jury room, they debate. They argue. They weigh life and death. They weigh truth and doubt. Some say Eric is innocent. Some say he is powerful. Some fear he may still be dangerous. They decide. Announcement. The jury files in. The judge stands. The foreman speaks. We find Eric Keating not guilty. The chamber fills with gasps. Some cheer. Some cry. The president stands. She hugs him tight. He breaks down. She holds him. Fall out. The press explodes again. Some call it justice. Others call it failure of the system. The political world is shaken. Some allies distance themselves. Others rally behind her campaign. Lessons learned. Power can distort truth. Love can complicate duty. Justice can be a game. Final reflection. In the end, what does it mean? Eric walks free, but the story is not over. Their marriage is tested. Their presidency is wounded. The nation is changed. This is the final act. A twist, a confession, a trial, a verdict. But more than that, it is a reflection on power, on loyalty, and on truth. Let the echo of this story remain. A reminder, never assume. Always seek the truth, because sometimes the real enemy lies behind the shadow of power. What happens to the president and her husband? The future of the nation. Reflections on truth, power, and loyalty. The trial is over. The cameras are turned off. The courtroom is quiet, but America is still talking. President Keating walks out into the sunlight. Her husband, Eric Keating, walks beside her. They don't say much, but the weight of what they've been through is written across their faces. This was not just a trial. It was a public unraveling of trust, of image, of a marriage, a presidency forever changed. President Keating returns to the White House, but things aren't the same. Advisors now whisper a little softer. Donors ask more questions. Poll numbers shift inch by inch. She is still in the race, still a candidate, still the most powerful woman in the country. But her biggest challenge is no longer her opponent. It's the public's faith. Faith in her. Faith in the system. Faith in leadership. Eric's new life. And what about the first gentleman? Eric Keating is no longer just a former NFL star. No longer just a political spouse. He is now the man who stood on trial. The man who cried in court. The man who almost lost everything. He takes long walks. He avoids crowds. He talks quietly with his wife at night. He knows what the world thinks, but more importantly, he knows what she thinks. Their private conversation. One evening, in the garden of the White House, they sit together on a bench. The president turns to Eric. She asks, "Do you still want this life?" He looks up. He says, "I only ever wanted you." There is silence. Then she says, "We survived something most couples never will." They don't talk about politics, or polls, or elections, just trust and time. The nation moves forward. Meanwhile, the country doesn't stop. New stories dominate the headlines. New controversies arise. But people remember. They remember the trial, the media storm, the conspiracy, the pain. Some believe justice was served. Some still have doubts. But the system held. And the truth, whatever it really is, came to the surface. A legacy written in scars. The president may win re-election, or she may not, but her name is forever etched in the history books as the woman who stood tall while the world questioned everything. Reflections on power, truth, and loyalty. This story, The First Gentleman, is not just a thriller. It is a mirror held up to those who lead, to those who judge, to those who trust blindly. It asks difficult questions. Can we ever really know someone? Is truth always clean? What does loyalty look like when everything falls apart? And above all, it reminds us that power comes with a cost. Final words. In the halls of Washington, truth and lies often walk the same corridor. But sometimes, through scandal, through sacrifice, through silence, we see who people really are. And sometimes, even when the truth is painful, it sets people free. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.